Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much, seniors, parents, guardians, for coming out tonight. My name is Megan Studer. I am one of the school counselors listed up there. If your child has the last name starting with the letters G through N, I get to be their school counselor. We're going to introduce ourselves. I have the other school counselors up here with me right now.
I'm Janelle Tom Schneider. I have the last part of the alphabet, the Oz part, so O through Z.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kelly Jurasevich, or Miss J, as the students know me. And I can't believe this, but this current senior class is the first 8th grade class that I had when I started in the district. So that is super wild and crazy that y'all are seniors already. But I have students with last names A through F and those that are in the AVID program.
And I'm Missy Tracy. I apparently like to mix it up every year, keep you guys on your toes. So if you've been in the district for a few years, I used to have O to Z, and I gave that part of the alphabet to Miss Janelle Tom Schneider. Your students are in good hands, I promise. And new this year, we're trying to work as a coordinating counselor. So I'm doing all of the assessments, the PSAT, the ACT, the pre-ACT, all of these events, coordinating different things. So just trying to take these duties off of their plates so that they actually have time to spend, more time to spend with students. So that's kind of our goal.
And we are very appreciative of you. Awesome. Just to let you know, the rest of our team up here, we have a pretty big student services team. Mr. Greg Gramberg is who you would go to for any school to career, early college credit questions. We have our 3 admin assistants right next to each other up there. Mrs. Cannell, she also does a lot with transcripts. So when students make requests in parchment, she will go, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. She goes in and sends them to the school that they're requested. Ms. Dunn and Ms. Oki are also admin assistants. And so you might see them right when you walk into student services. On the second row, you see our mental health coordinator, Ms. Oscar, and she assists us a lot with different treatments and placements and just all sorts of mental health services, making sure our students are supported. Our school psychologist is Jody Peter-Schmidt, so she does a lot with assessments as well as helping students who might have an IEP or a 504. Janet Pleiner is our social emotional learning coach, and she supports our students in connections a lot at the high school level. So she helps make a lot of the connections lessons, and we rely on her for a lot of different consulting and stuff as well. And lastly up there is Amy Mitchell, our school social worker, and so she helps us get resources for a lot of our students outside of school as well as inside of school. All right, so I get to start with basically how do you walk across the stage in 4 years and make sure you've got that diploma in your hand, your graduation requirements. So many of you seniors know this already, but you need 4 credits of English. You're knocking that last English credit out this year. And then 3 credits of the other core areas. So 3 of math, 3 of science, 3 of social studies. You also need 1.5 credits of PE or Phi Ed. You need that 0.5 credit of health, and then the rest is electives. So as seniors, they're kind of experiencing now getting to do school to career or early college credit or having a little more freedom in their schedule to explore some electives maybe they hadn't tried before. So those last credits are those 8 remaining credits that get you to that magic number of 23 to graduate. Also, in addition to the credits for graduation, we have 40 community service hours that the district mandates. Several students, I've already had seniors turning in those hours. We are going to send you a copy of this slideshow. So, for example, you can earn those hours in a variety of ways and submit them in a couple different ways. One of the easiest ways to submit them is through that link right up there. If you just click on that, it takes you to a Google form, and parents can actually sign off as supervisors on their hours. We've had changed that once the pandemic started a couple of years ago. So Personally, I think that's kind of the easiest way to do it, but if you still have those paper copies, that's totally fine. Just take a picture of them. You can send them to our admin assistant up there, Ms. Oki, or the school counselor will get them to the correct people. Don't worry about that at all. And then or if you want to just turn in the paper copy, that's fine too. For seniors who haven't quite got those 40 hours yet, there are a couple different ways that you can still get them. Obviously, within the community, because this school has been pretty lenient the last couple of years with parents signing off on hours, even if a student has been doing some work around the house, maybe taking a grandparent to an appointment, helping out in the neighborhood, raking a yard, things that they're not getting paid for could count toward those hours currently. We also have a website, if you have it, where I think it's linked through our student services website, where they have all different ideas for this area that are looking for student volunteers too. And you can email any of us counselors and we can send you that link too. That's super easy. Lastly, with that, some students who have no hours, who want to knock out all 40 hours, have chosen to cadet, maybe working as a teacher's assistant, and that can get you 40 hours in one semester, or peer tutoring as well. So Ms. Tracy is going to talk a little bit more about the college application process, but that gets you to graduation.
Thank you, Ms. Studer. So, I want to make sure we stay on time. I appreciate you guys coming out. I give you credit. I would have just waited for the recording because I like to stay in my jammies. But we will send out a recording of this later in the week as well, in case there's anything you missed or something you wanted to see again. So basically what we're going to cover is listed up here. So college application, requesting transcripts, requesting ACT or SAT scores, requesting letters of recommendation, personal essays, copies, just wanting you to make sure you keep PDFs, or copies is kind of old school now, but just keeping the information for yourself as well. The FAFSA and application fees when it comes to admissions. So I'm going to have Ms. Studer talk about the Common App real quick. She's a professional.
Okay, so there are a couple different ways to apply if you're talking about traditional four-year schools in Wisconsin, or actually within the country. So if it's within Wisconsin, a UW school, most students tell us the easiest way to apply is through the UW Systems app. Those are all of the UW schools are listed in the UW Systems application. And if you're wondering, if you go to UW Green Bay's website, they'll take you right to that link. The other way a lot of schools have begun allowing students to apply is through something called Common Application or Common App. If you are just applying to UW schools, it's probably a little easier to use the UW Systems app just because it's shorter and there's less components. If you're applying, though, in-state, out-of-state, to some private schools, some public schools, Common App is a great option. It's going to be a little bit more of the front-loading the information. It's a little longer, but once you get it in there, you can check, apply to multiple schools at once, too. So there's benefits to both. If you use Common App, the one thing I would say, probably on behalf of all the counselors, is come see your school counselor, because there is a counselor piece in there that we want to get started on right away. For example, we have some students going for October 15th deadline for a couple out-of-state schools right now. And so if you submit October 14th and we don't know about it, then we get notification that you've submitted and we have to do our part, but it's due October 14th or October 15th, the same day. So my point is, if you do Common App, just come see us early, because we'll show you how you can send us a notification and we can start on our piece right away for you. Let's say you're interested in Marquette and UW Green Bay. Go to both of those websites and make sure that UW Green Bay is in Common App. Or, so if you're going to apply to both, you want to make sure that both schools use the Common App system. And at the Marquette website, it will say how they prefer you to apply. They'll give you two different options. Or at the UW Green Bay website, they'll give you which options to apply.
If you go to that Common App website,
that use it. That's a good question. So the question is, does it list all the schools in Common App? It does. The thing is, you're gonna have to set up your profile. You're gonna have to go through some pieces before you add the colleges in. So it might just, if you already know the schools you're applying to, it might just be easier to just go to the school's website and make sure they use Common App there first. Does that make sense? Okay.
Or set up an appointment with Megan Studer.
You can always do that too. We're happy to do that. We're more than happy.
So moral of the story is it's a lot of information, right? It feels like a fire hose to the face right now, so we apologize. But we're trying to just kind of touch on each of these things, so at least you're like, oh yeah, let me ask about that, or let me talk to my counselor about that. So that's kind of, we're mentioning each of these things, just it's like, oh yeah, I thought of that. But the big thing about the application checklist is just know that it's just that, it's a checklist. You don't have to have it all in one big package before you send it in. You'll start with the application, and then you'll get reminders, hey, have you sent this yet? Have you sent this? We're still waiting on this. So it's kind of it's a process. So some kids will make like a spreadsheet and kind of keep track of which schools have received which information. But again, we're always here to help. So please come ask questions. And then with regard to the application fee, so all of the UW schools are actually free right now with the exception of UW La Crosse, UW Eau Claire, and of course UW-Madison. $60, but the rest of the application fees are currently suspended due to the pandemic. So they're continuing that, which is kind of nice. And official transcripts. So each senior should have received their unofficial transcript this summer, along with a letter letting you know what credits you need to finish. So those were sent out in August. And the two places that we ask you to kind of pay attention to, so the blue square, if you can see it up there, is the cumulative GPA. So that's all the grades combined from freshman year all the way up to spring of junior year. And then of course, once grades are finalized this January, they'll have first semester included in that as well. And then the course summary over there on the right side with the red box, that just lets you know which credits were attempted and which ones have been earned. So we compare that back to the list that Ms. Studer was going over, the 4 credits of English, 3 credits of math, etc. With regards to transcripts, so official transcripts can be ordered through parchment.com. So we do our very best to help students as best as we can, and sometimes we'll just send over a copy, and then the school will say, nope, it has to come through a third party to be official. So we just direct students to parchment.com, and I think it's about $375 unless it's gone $415. Tends to go up a little bit each year, so it's about $4.15 per transcript. But if you ever need like an unofficial, we can absolutely print one out for you. Some schools will take an unofficial until students have technically been admitted and start picking classes, kind of a thing. So all schools are different. So again, just throwing a lot of information at you. Please ask us questions. And then again with test scores. So I updated this from the previous PowerPoint, so I apologize, it looks a little different. So we're moving towards this My ACT. So this class completed the My ACT and created an account last March, right Josh? Does that sound familiar? Give me a thumbs up, all right. Thanks, bud. So it should look like this when you log on to myact.org. So you either click to sign in or you create an account if you haven't already. So again, if you need any help with this, this is where students will go to get their official ACT score sent to schools. And I believe that one's about $12 a piece. Has it gone up? Okay. And then AP scores. So if your student took an AP exam last May or they plan to take one again this May, this is where the AP scores will come into place. And you will order the AP scores directly through the College Board website. And again, with any questions, please let us know. Is that too vague? No, okay. Any questions? I feel like we're giving you a lot of information. Okay.
All right, thank you. I get to talk about money, right? We know how expensive college costs are now, so scholarships are very important now. One thing about the test scores, I know questions come up from alumni all the time. They call us and they think we can help with everything, including what their test scores were. We don't put test scores onto transcripts in Oregon. So those websites and your logins are extremely important because when you graduate, at graduation practice, it's such a fun, happy day. We take your cumulative file and we actually hand it over to you and say, now it's in your hands. And we beg them not to throw it in the trunk of their car and lose it and give it to parents so that you have all that information and their pictures back to when they were kindergartners. But we don't have those test scores anymore. So again, those logins are really important for you for ACT and for your AP scores because we don't have that information. We give it to you at that point. So just so you remember that, it's really important to keep that cum folder and your logins for that. All right, for scholarships, in the spring is the most important time for local scholarships to come out. And each year we sit on the scholarship committee and do our best to try to distribute funds throughout our students, our most deserving students. It's difficult because there's never enough to give away, right, for scholarships, and we all know everybody's deserving, but industry, right, and civic organizations are doing their best to try to spread that out. So there are some national scholarships that you can see up there, and there are some searches, and again, these are all linked into that PowerPoint you're going to give away, or we're going to give to you. The issue is sometimes a company or a business will put out one scholarship, and it's a nationwide scholarship, so that the chance that you're going to get that scholarship is really few and far between. It's great when you guys go on and do the work, but I always caution you that it may be something that's really far-reaching for you to get for a national scholarship. You know, oftentimes employers are giving out scholarships in the area, in the Madison area. Your parents are linked to a business or organization that are giving out scholarships. So always keep your ears, listening for those scholarships if you hear anything. Sometimes obviously a business or an organization or a career field will be giving away scholarships. So always keep listening for those scholarships locally that you could apply for. And then we will look at all the scholarships that come across our desk. We put in a monthly scholarship listing, and that's listed on our website. And I know parents, sometimes you obviously have a really important job here because your students are often so busy that sometimes you can be helping with that, and you can be looking at those monthly publications to see if there's anything that your student could apply for. So sometimes you can help with that too, because again, we know how busy our students are with activities and jobs and trying to get everything in their senior year. So in addition to that, in the spring, we will ask, and we let all the seniors know right before spring break to apply for the local scholarships. So those are crucial that your students look for that. Some years we have scholarships that aren't even given away because we didn't have students that are applying for those scholarships. So again, when those local scholarship packets come out, please urge your students to fill those out and complete those scholarships. And we can help with those too. Upcoming events, college fairs. I know you guys are moving quickly on this, so I don't know if any of you are still interested in going into looking at some college fairs. There's a national virtual college fair on Sunday, November 6th, and so if you're still looking at some fun schools outside of the area, that's a really great website to go into. And I just got a hold of them today, and they have some live ones, and they have some recorded that's all up to the college, but I went on there, and there were hundreds of colleges that are going to appear for that. So if you're still looking for a unique college, and they even have a scholarship match, if you go into that link, you can say, I want to major in mechanical engineering, and I want to be in Michigan. And so there's an actual scholarship search, or a college search, so you could go in there and look for an interesting college if you're still looking for one. And then Wisconsin, we have a Wisconsin Education Fair, as you see, and that's not until March 13th. So again, you probably are going to have a really good idea of the school that you're attending at that point. So, but that is still available. And then for financial aid, it's really confusing and sometimes a cumbersome process that you go through for financial aid, and that is already open. So financial aid is open for you to start applying for that. But we are offering a workshop right here at Oregon, so you don't have to go out of the area. If you're free Wednesday, October 19th, it's going to be right here. We have members from Madison College that come in and help us with all that paperwork, so it can, again, be really confusing. So if you're open that night from 6 to 8, they're open. Please don't come in at 7:55 because it does take some time to do that. So again, we're planning on until 8 o'clock, so if you're here at 7:30 at the latest, that would be great. And they will sit with you individually and answer questions and go through this with you. And on the website, it shows you, again, everything that you have to bring. So it's really important that you have to bring the paperwork necessary to complete that. Oh no, Madison College is coming in here. They are going to be here at Oregon. So you don't have to go to Madison College for that. They're coming right here to Oregon. Yes, Madison College is just our resource. They're just helping us with this. So any college that you're going to and any FAFSA, that you're going to go to, they're just going to be our resource. Thank you. So it's not just if you're applying to Madison College. Yep.
Do you know when that FAFSA has to be in and done for these? Or is there like an open-ended time?
Yeah, it is late. Like I think they go pretty late. But again, the earlier you get it in, the better chance you're going to have of grants and scholarships. So I urge you to do it as early as possible because it just runs out. You know what I mean? So yes, they'll extend it and they'll let you do it. I think until really late, like end of May, June 1st. But yeah, we urge you to do it early. And then there's other sites. As College Goal Wisconsin is a different locations, as you see. So if you can't make it for October 19th, there are other events in the area, in the Madison area, and you don't have to attend that school. So just because it's offered at that school, you don't have to be, a student there. They're doing this kind of all around the state to help parents and students complete this FAFSA, because we know it can be confusing to do that. Any other questions for the FAFSA? Everybody hear that? So UW-Madison was offering a virtual FAFSA evening that you could go on, and it was more informational, so I believe it was more of a recorded. This is step 1, step 2, you go through, but on the 19th, there's going to be resource people here to help you complete your FAFSA. So it won't be virtual. It's going to be live in the computer lab, so we have computers set up for you, so you can just come in and complete it right there. And again, it doesn't have to be Madison College, it's for all schools. All right.
All right, I'm going to just run through a couple different resources for you all. And again, this will be sent out as a digital copy, so you can click right on those links, as well as you have the printouts, and then we will send the recording as well. So first, quick reminder, senior photos for the yearbook are due November 15th. If you have specific questions about that, we ask that you reach out to Ms. Kissling, who handles creating the yearbook. And we also linked the informational page that was sent out earlier with all of the details about like what can and cannot be included in that photo, as well as other resources that you might need to get that in. So tonight we're going to focus primarily on Wisconsin-specific schools, simply because that is the majority of where our students focus on going. We recognize there are a lot of other different pathways that don't even include college that students take. And so if you would like to learn more about those other pathways, we encourage you to set up a time to meet with us to talk more about that, because we'll just be focusing on some of these Wisconsin-specific ones right now. So the technical college system offers more than 500 different types of associate's degrees, technical degrees, and certificates across 16 different technical colleges throughout Wisconsin. I feel like a lot of times when people think of technical colleges, they just think of Madison College, which is an awesome, amazing option, but there are so many different places that offer different types of degrees as well. So we recommend checking those out. We will have couple free application days specific with Madison College here at the high school. Those are upcoming, so stay tuned for those specific dates. But they will likely be in our library here during the school day, and students can complete that application for free with assistance with a Madison College representative during a class period and just get it done. So that's a really great opportunity that we encourage students to take advantage of, and just keep an eye out. We will be sending that information on specific dates soon. Another thing I want to point out on this slide is the Scholars of Promise. So this is a program for low-income graduating high school students, and is just an opportunity for finances to not be a barrier or not have to be something that they need to worry about. So if this is something you're interested in learning a little bit more about, it is specific to Madison College. You can check out their website. They have a ton of additional information, and we also can connect you with our representative if you would like to have more conversations specifically about Scholars of Promise with a Madison College admissions rep. So we can connect you too. Wisconsin Private Colleges. So it's an association of independent colleges and universities. Yes?
Real quick, Ms. J, I know we only have 3 minutes left, but anyone that grabbed a slideshow when they first came in, you're going to be missing these last 3 slides, so I have more copies up here on the way out. Just mentioning that.
Extra copies with the additional slides in the back on your way out.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay, so Wisconsin Association of Independent Colleges and Universities. It's an organization made up of 23 different independent or private colleges, and that is throughout Wisconsin. I know a lot of times too when students think of private colleges, they think it's more expensive and I can't afford that. And that, it's true, they are more expensive. However, they have a lot of really great financial aid packages. So we highly recommend you checking out their website, again, linked here, so you can learn more about the specific schools, the specific programs, and what financial aid packages they might offer. So just another really great resource for you in your college search. The UW Help website is another really great resource. There are 26 different campuses, which include their 2-year branch campuses. And UW Help has a lot of really good resources in terms of financial aid, in terms of programs, in terms of what their campuses can offer. And they also have something called the UW Journey app. It's for your phone, where students can create an account, answer some questions, and it helps them find what their best fit campus is, as well as what program might be a good fit in addition. You can also look up like, hey, I want to be a vet. Which UW campuses offer that? So there's just a lot of really great resources on the UW Help website. So we recommend checking that out as well. Finally, we just have a handful of other resources. Some are through the Department of Education, a couple of other UW Help resources for you that are around kind of financial aid, scholarships, things like that that you can check out as well. And that is it. So thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. Please stop down, let us know if you have questions, set up an appointment with us. We are more than happy to help. And have a great night.